Good morning, class. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Before we get started with our lesson, let's just do a quick roll call. And I see that you guys are all here. Now, something I want to review with you guys. There's often times in life where you're going to hear vocabulary that you haven't heard before. And if somebody introduces you with a new sentence and you hear some jargon in the middle, you hear something entirely made up like you've never heard a word before. Can we ever figure out what that word means and how do we do so? Wait a few moments. There's different ways that we can go about doing so. First, let's review on what type of words these could be. These could be unknown words. These could be words that are going to be seen in everyday life. Like it could be while you're at the gas station or while you're getting your car fixed. It could be while you're doing a sport that you haven't done before. There's going to be unknown words that could be used. Like if you're getting your car fixed and you hear him talking about different parts of the car. You're playing tennis and you hear somebody talking about backspin and you've never been introduced to that type of stuff before. You can use the rest of what they're talking about to infer what the word could possibly mean, or at least narrow it down to a very small, minute amount of options for yourself. That's a really good way about helping yourself through tricky problems. And this is a really good tool for you all to use whenever you're running into new vocabulary inside a book, possibly during an essay or test or quiz, intent. So that now we're going to watch a quick video to show what I'm referencing in your everyday life. So let me show that to you all. Yada, yada, yada. Cool. Just watch the video. Now that we've been able to see the video, I want you guys to discuss with a partner in different ways in which you've used this in the past before, or if there's other ways that you've seen that used in everyday life. Nice. Would anybody like to share a time when they've ever used this in everyday life, or they've seen somebody else use it when discussing with them? And how has it helped you? Thank you, Timmy, for explaining your answer. Timmy, I too use that when I'm discussing makeup with women. You always want to give full attention when anybody's talking to you about any kind of topic. Sometimes you might not have the knowledge behind it. It doesn't mean you don't care about it. You just want to be able to show that you're engaged. And it's really important to show that you care about what the other person is discussing. You might not know what they're talking about, but you can use different context clues throughout the sentence to be able to reference that. Now, as you can see on the board, I realize this is backwards. I wasn't thinking about that when I did the recording. There's we're going to talk about some vocabulary from the giver, and I want you guys to use context clues from the sentence to see if you can tell me what it means. Now, no one had mentioned it, not even his parents, because the public announcement had been sufficient to produce remorse. Now, when reviewing that sentence, what do you guys think that remorse could mean? I want you guys to either discuss with a partner or within your groups what you think remorse might mean given the sentence. Now, again, this was in the chapter 2 from the giver that you guys had read this weekend, so you guys are all familiar with this sentence. Now, I would like to ask you guys a few questions about this. Now, when reading the sentence, no one had mentioned it, not even his parents. Just this line. Does this sound like a good or bad thing so far, and why? Sounds like a good thing, Mr. Stone. Why does it sound like a good thing? No one had mentioned, not even his parents. Now, if your parents don't mention something, does this sound like it's something that they're excited about? Because I know my parents, and when I figured out I get a new job, I get a good grade on a test, they share it with the whole town. They put it on their Facebooks, they do it everywhere, just like your guys do too, I promise. Now, so for that, we can infer it's probably not the best thing in life, right? If the parents don't even want to share it, okay. So let's go to the next one. Because the public announcement had been sufficient to produce remorse. So the public announcement had produced remorse. Now, from that, again, can we go back to is this a good thing that's happening or a bad thing that's happening? Now, from the top part or the first section of the sentence, we think it could possibly be a bad thing, right? Because that's what Timmy mentioned. Now, but because the public announcement had been sufficient to produce something. So there's information, maybe bad, that's getting out, and it makes somebody feel some type of way. Okay, okay. So that's a good way to see that's how we're using our context clues to decipher the meaning of the sentence. Now, remorse itself means a feeling of deep regret. Now, for context, if I was going to do this in a class, I would only do the sentence and then I would flip it down to then show that part. Now, remorse, a feeling of deep regret. So it could be a bad feeling. A regret means something you should not have done. You know you should not have done it. You felt bad about doing it. An example of this could be, I regretted cheating on the test because it was a bad decision and I got caught. So these are bad decisions that you want to be. So upon viewing this, we didn't even need to know what remorse meant. We just used the rest of the sentence to decipher what the meaning was, and that's how we figured it out.